Hey, I'm Chris Shearholtz from Ontario, Canada, and I developed the Giant Realm 5 entry Ghost Host with my friend Jesse Taharali. This was both of our first ever entrances into a game jam, and when it comes to the story, I may have bit off a little more than I could chew in 9 days. I ended up throwing together as much as I could get to function in the allotted time, which I'd bet is a very common feeling in the game jam space. Seeing as I've got feedback claiming that the game is a bit confusing, I thought it would be fun to record a playthrough and discuss the story I was attempting, the questions I wanted the player to have, and to discuss the story material that didn't quite make it in. If you continue on watching this video, you'll be spoiled in the story of Ghost Host, the game Bioshock, and the ending to the 1999 film Bicentennial Man. So if that's something that matters to you, I suggest you do not continue the video until you've figured all of that out. The game begins with the protagonist flying through the air in an airplane. A man opens the exterior door of the plane and jumps out before it explodes. Having the plane as the cause of death at the beginning of the game was something I wanted because it's a symbol of shifting to a different plane of existence and it holds a lot of questions. Where are you going? Why does the plane explode? Who is that jumping up from the plane? Are they responsible for your death? I like the idea of descending onto the game from above and seeing the chaos rain onto the beings below as the game opens with the moment of your death. You're forced to descend through the wreckage of the plane as it plummets to the ground, but the wreckage hangs in the air with you as if you're unhinged from time until you reach the ground. I was hoping that this descent slowly would prompt the player to question, who are they in control of? Who were they before their death? Through thought bubbles, but I didn't quite have time, so this is what you got. The storylines, and I use that word very lightly, are reactions to the deaths in the series 13 Deadly Sims, and my interpretation of how their soul might react to the fates once disconnected from their corporeal form. If I had had the time, I would have loved to write parts for all of the Giant Bomb staff, present and past, but I only had time for just a few. Ben Pack, Abby Russell, Austin Walker, and Jeff Gersman. Ben Pack is the first story the player is likely to complete, which is to try and save his bush. Ben died by getting devoured by a giant plant. It has been decades since then, and that plant has long died. But Ben continues to haunt just whatever old plant he can find, but by this point his soul is withering, and this is his final home before he leaves this realm. When it dies, he will fade from this plane existence. I also just thought it would be funny if Ben loved Bush. Where Ben's story is part of the main quest, where the player is responsible for helping it get to completion, Austin's story acts as a B story that unfolds in the background of the playfield. In 13 Deadly Sims, Austin was killed by a fire and is cursed to haunt them. As the fire grows, he too grows more powerful. I intended to have him summon dark clouds and darken the sky as the fire grew to create a sinister appearance before eventually turning it to reveal that he was using his power for good and the dark clouds begin to rain and extinguish the fire. That was simplified to him eventually just blowing gusts of wind in an attempt to extinguish the fire. Jeff and Abby make up the bulk of the intended and the actual storyline and are basically pitted against one another. Abby ran 13 Deadly Sims. In my version of the events, Jeff was able to escape by faking his own death. Jeff fled for his life, and Abby has been haunting around the world in search of his soul, which she feels belongs to her. What the character sees as a broken, drunken, but still undeniably cool old man is revealed at the end of the game to be Jeff Gersman. At age 123, Jeff has aged incredibly gracefully. He, however, has been hiding so long that he can't remember what he's hiding from and drinks to numb the pain of his lost website. His memories come rushing back to him when he finally dunks again, returning him to the brief moments of happiness that he felt on the courts of the compound he escaped from all those years ago. When Jeff finally reveals his identity, it was initially planned that Abby would challenge you, as Jeff, to a winner-take-all 1v1 of basketball where you fight for your soul. Once you defeat Abby, Jeff returns to Giant Bomb for the 100th anniversary and allows himself to pass away happy, not unlike Robin Williams' character in the end of Bicentennial Man. In the actual thing I made, once it's revealed that Old Man is Jeff, Abby blows him up. Effectively, this is the bad ending, where Abby wins. Sorry, Abby. But it's also the only ending I was able to make before the deadline. What I like about this ending is I was actually able to make it work, if you can get through all the rest of the bugs in the game. But it also connects Abby's death to the player's death as well. She was the cause of the initial explosion in the plane, and she brought you here to reveal Jeff's true identity and to help her catch him, not unlike Bioshock's protagonist. In conclusion, making games is a time-consuming process that I believe is its own reward. I had a big plan for a game, and though I failed in delivering on that vision, I've learned a lot, and I failed into what I think is a pretty fun, goofy game world that can be enjoyable to play around in. I hope this allows for a bit more of that vision I had to reach the audience, and more than anything, I hope that you all had fun during the game jam, because I did. Thanks. Bye.